Hey, greetings, fellow slingers. It's your trusted handler, Brian, steering us in the right direction as Convergence has taken off. With my panel consisting of all the hard slingers of yore, I know that we are hoping to do this scenario justice. But before I lead us in, got some shout-outs. First is to Henry Anderson, thanking us and warmly welcoming us back to Delta Green. Thank you, Henry. It's good to be back in the fold of such a welcoming community. I know this is one of my favorite systems. I just can't get enough of this thing. So I hope that everyone is enjoying the material we're producing because, man, I love producing it. Second shout out is to my brother and former hardslinger of the show, David Ratke, who wished all us mothers a happy Father's Day. Thank you, brother. Don't be a stranger. Remember, if you want me to give you a shout out, write into the show at rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com or leave us a comment on our YouTube channel at rollthehard20. Not only do I enjoy seeing these comments, but I enjoy replying to them as well. So keep them coming. Now, let's cut the bullshit and warm up our dice and top off our glass as Roll the Hard 20 podcast presents our Delta Green scenario, Convergence, Episode 2.
In here. Hey, Junior, what's happening, man?
What's that? You suck my ass?
Yeah.
Sorry, Ryder. The timing was broken.
Sorry.
He's off.
He sucks.
My son's at West Point, so I'm hoping it turns out well. So I'm channeling him some support by wearing a T-shirt that he can't see because it makes it just about as much sense as anything else.
As long, well, I'm not going to say
It's
that.
the spirit that matters. And right now I'm out of spirits.
Junior, how you doing?
I'm good. Just trying to find, here it is, a pencil real quick.
Should do an episode where everybody has to talk in their Arnold impersonation.
Yeah.
The whole thing, everybody has to talk on.
I'm not going to edit that at all. I refuse to edit something like that.
Hey, fuck you!
Get to the
It's
job,
matter, Brian. Pushing too many pencils.
Stop being the pussy.
What's everyone been doing this past week? Get me caught up. What have you guys been doing?
I dropped off my son at the military academy for summer seminar. I'm quite proud of him. So
We're all
he's
quite
there.
proud of our son.
Yes, absolutely. He could be yours for all I know, although he's shorter and them little Italian genes got him. I don't know how you wind up over 6 foot, man.
You
It's all
got some
that
incense.
sunshine.
You got some incense burning there, Tony?
That's exactly what I got.
Okay.
I have my favorite mermaid here that when this particular
Mermaid?
incense gets going. Yeah. See,
Merman.
so when the incense gets going, the smoke comes out her boobs.
All right.
Hey, that's fucking classy right there.
Damn
I think
straight.
it come out of a hoo-ha, but
That's
no,
right.
it's the jugs.
I think I've seen the same thing
mammaries
at
on the fish.
a Buddhist temple.
Yeah. Well, this is frankincense, so it's got that whole
All
aura of
right.
mysticism. Got that, Frank. Ah! What are we eating tonight, Frank? Mumman.
So I, for one, got an email from our fellow slinger, Gary Kilgore.
No.
Yeah, and he
Gary?
wrote it.
Real quick, Gary writes in quite a bit.
Gary.
He's one of our favorite write-in listeners.
do.
I love this guy when he writes in all the time. But he was just writing in just the other day.
Gary.
Shut the fuck up. He was just writing in
How
the
are
other
you?
day to say that he listened to Bloodlords episode 18 and that the players were just barely scraping by. You guys were getting the shit kicked out of you and whatnot.
Please.
But one of the things that that he said, now he still has a gold doubloon from way back when that I had sent out to him. And he was saying that he was a little bummed out that you guys didn't believe one of my rolls. When you guys said, we're going to put a camera right over this dice tray right here. And he said, you know what? Fuck those guys. I'm going to give you, Brian, that gold doubloon.
Oh,
no.
So that makes 2 gold
Yeah, I
doubloons
was
I now
thought this
have.
guy Gary had a little too much of an
That's-
ass
We're the
kissing
hard
the
slingers
DM.
of yore, man. Tell me
That is
someone
how
else has
it
got 30
rolls.
years experience with you and your
However-
foibles.
However, in defense of you, hard slingers right now. I am unable to use it on this AP because it can only be used for the Bloodlords AP. But when we take it back up,
Yeah, it's not like you
Freaking-
need a gold doubloon anyway to kill people. Can't kill Khan though.
Got your
Khan's
rats
people's
doing the
champion.
work.
You got to kill the people before you can kill the champion.
put them on the line. I'll take them all out. Second point of action here, Chris.
Uh-oh.
I gotta say that some of the most, if not the most, impressive notes I have ever seen taken for a session in my life. Chris sent out this 2-page, I don't even know what it is, the Word
The
document.
doc.
Yeah, whatever this thing is. It's colored, it's indented, it's got circled bullets and everything all over the place. This is the most impressive note taking I've ever seen. You nerd.
Yeah. He
Good
even
job.
let me know that Ichi's car was low on wiper fluid.
Damn.
I don't even
That's a-
drive.
It's attention to detail.
I don't even have a car, but he told me that in the future, the next car I own will actually have a left rear tire that's low on air. And finally, tone. As I was editing this last episode, I gotta say, your interrogation techniques, so well done that even I felt the singe of the heat from you. It made me uncomfortable, and I'm running this fucking thing. Well done. Had you guys not been given gold doubloons for your prologues, I would have given out gold doubloons just for those two things, for the impressive
right
note
on.
taking and for the interrogation techniques.
See, hard
Yeah.
work doesn't pay off. He already got the gold doubloons for doing nothing.
Yeah, look at me. Just think of it this way. The 2 gold doubloons I would have gave you, I was given those gold doubloons by my fellow slingers out there. Thank you
Look,
guys. I appreciate it all.
You mentioned Tony's interrogation techniques. I was actually talking to a friend of mine today about Tony's interrogation of our last episode. I'm like, dude, you got it. This guy was like on, and I was like going on for like 10 minutes about Tony's interrogation. It was awesome.
He was on point. Hopefully he doesn't bill
Interrogations
us.
and searching dead wizards, man. He's on it.
Anything else? Anybody have anything else they want to add? Sam just loves it when I flubber.
Well, when you use that kind of tone, I don't think so.
Tone.
So does anybody have anything else they want to add before we begin this session?
Love you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Ask.
Of course, that could be arbitrarily angled.
Yeah, that could
Any-
be anybody here, so
Well, let's just lead us in and get this ball started. Greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to Roll the Hard 20 podcast. It is I, your trusted handler, Brian, welcoming you to another episode of our Delta Green scenario, Convergence, episode 2. And with me, my hard slingers of yore.
Yeah.
Hail everyone.
Bastards. So, as a little bit of a summary of last episode, you agents reported to the FBI office in Knoxville, Tennessee to meet with Special Agent in Charge Derringer, who had in his possession an unusual person of interest. One Billy Ray Spivey, 18 years old, hailing from Groversville, Tennessee, who had gone missing 11 days ago after leaving his girlfriend's house, only to return 2 days later with no memory of the incident at all. You were informed that he had killed his father and took to the lam. His run ended after killing a gas station attendant and then being stopped by law enforcement. He was redirected to where he is now, tied up in a chair on sublevel 2 of the older FBI building and guarded by 3 well-armed agents. Spivey claimed to be in excruciating pain that no medication could diminish, and he had a hunger no amount of eating could yield, nor had he passed any of the food or drink he had consumed. After questioning him and really finding out nothing of value yet, you came up with a plan to flush him with a protein shake infused with laxatives. As Adesso poured the mixture down this young man's throat, 2 things happened. Number 1, the door opened and SAC Derringer informed you that the lab report on Spivey had returned. And number 2, the young man began to upchuck the mixture directly at Adesso. Adesso, I need you to make that dex check right now.
got it. Dex check. According to my sheet, I've got to get under 55.
You're a father. You should be able to dodge vomit.
Yeah, well, exactly. Father of three. There should be like a plus 20% to that. Actually plus 30, 10% for every child. And Adesso gets a 22. A 22. That's a
Hey.
critical success. Those children have paid off.
22. You manage to maneuver your way back as this volume of fluid ejects from his throat and mouth, spraying the back wall. You hear him begin to cough. Go on, no. Derringer looks at the four of you and says, agents, if you're done with Spivey, I need to go over this lab report with you ASAP.
Very well.
Adesso turns to the agents. Treat that as hazardous and toxic. Get a team in here with proper protection to clean it up. Watch him. He may be having to go to the restroom soon.
You see their hands grip tighter on their M16 grips, fingers itching on the trigger as the four of you exit the room. Derringer leads you back to room B204, which is where you were originally briefed. He closes the door behind you, and he says, look, we just got the lab reports back from this kid, and from what we can tell, the examination revealed evidence of extensive surgery. Incisions that previously we were unable to detect with our naked eye. He begins to show pictures as he pulls them out. I had them fax these over to me. And you see that certain portions of his extremities, his legs, his arms, and his chest area, you see these real fine dotted lines all about his muscular definition. And he continues, analysis of his arms and legs, as well as his chest and abdominal cavity, have been entirely replaced with some kind of a strange tissue that seems to mimic human muscle, but possess non-human characteristics. The lab geeks right now are calling it proto-matter because they honestly have no other nomenclature for it.
This is
Matter?
some Weapon X sort of stuff.
So Rice in kind of an inquisitive tone. It's like proto matter?
Yeah, they really don't know what to label this thing. I think they're just a bunch of high-end, well-paid nerds, and it probably just sounded like a really cool name. But honestly, we haven't been able to define this thing. Or should I say, they haven't been able to define this thing. From what they're looking at with the tensile strength of his body, he possesses this tremendous muscular strength, but it hasn't seeped into his body enough to infuse to his skeletal structure. From what they've been able to tell from the x-rays and whatnot, that hasn't changed at all. And while he may be strong enough to, say, pick up a car or something big, his body's frame would give out long before he could ever do anything with it. But that's not to say that this can't become a problem.
Oh, I think you have a problem eminently facing you. You've got, if I'm hearing you correctly, you believe this Billy Ray Spivey may possess some superhuman type of strength. What's to say that he isn't going to break free of the bonds that you have him in, and those two agents with M16s they may be killed. I think you should take some other precautions to get this guy in a more secure location quickly.
We've already got transport en route right now, but like I said, even though his epidermis and his muscular tissue is something completely different, it's still on a skeletal frame. For him to try to break those chains and the handcuffs, he would have to break his arms. Literally break the bones in his arms.
Is there anything in the proto matter that also reduce or increases tolerance to pain? Not only did it just stop with his muscular tissue, or did it also help increase his resistance to disease and tolerance for pain or sensitivity to anything, pressure, anything else like that? Or is it just the analysis just end with, yeah, he's got more strength?
we've only had him for a short while, and it wasn't until we brought him in after he was taken down. But as I'd mentioned previously, even though he was multiple tapped center mass by our law enforcement, it was confusing why the rounds didn't penetrate his abdominal cavity, and that's when the tests started being ran on him. And right now, these lab gurus, they believe that that the implications of this, what they're calling biotechnology, and the way it's intertwined with Spivey's body, it's blowing their minds. And it's being ran up the flagpole, so to say, and they want to know what's behind it before the information dam on this breaks. Now, we could handle the technicians that took these x-rays and took these samples. We could handle that on our end. But Intel believes that Groversville would be the best place for you four to start your inquiry as to what happened to this young man. And I gotta say, Groversville has actually come across my desk from time to time. And I hate to add this, but there have been some strange occurrences that have come out of that town.
I'm sure there has been.
Yeah, well, this may sound strange, but Spivey's temporary disappearance is not the first one to come out of there.
Is Groversville where the girlfriend lives?
Yes, that's where she comes from there as well.
Got it.
Now, do your scientists do they believe that this material could be spreading throughout his body, potentially covering his body, making it all the same matter, or just it's kind of being contained in those inserted areas?
It's being contained to those areas because the muscle tissue has literally been replaced on him. It's almost as though somebody stripped his skin and muscle from the bones and then put a whole new sleeve of arms and legs and pectoral muscles and abdominal muscles. It's like changing a G.I. Joe figure or something, what they did to this guy.
I'm thinking we should have a DNA test run on him. Match the DNA of the muscle tissue to his bone structure, which has not been affected yet. See what the two are, because the bones will be his original DNA, and the new muscle and skin will be something else. Or his stuff plus.
According to the report, this is all synthetic. This isn't even human tissue that's grafted onto his body.
It seems odd that someone would go through this laborious of a process on an 18-year-old kid. If someone were to try to create some sort of super soldier or something like that, you would pick someone more worthy. It doesn't seem like they would willfully choose an 18-year-old kid to do this sort of thing on.
No, but with his missing time, like I said, this may sound strange, but Spivey's not the only person to have missing time that live in Groversville.
Can you fill us more in on that? Do tell. What else?
Well,
what else do you have?
We have reports. I hate to use this because, other than me probably believing a partial point of this, we have other locals that have reported into their local authorities that have claimed to have missing portions of their lives, days that they can't remember. And honestly, nobody takes them serious, because who would? But we know the truth. But unfortunately, we can't let that truth get out there.
We have a list of those people?
You're probably going to have to pick that up from the local authorities or do a little ground pounding when you boys actually get to Groversville. And that's...
So in other words, Spivey's the only one that has exhibited some kind of violent behavior where he was killing people.
I don't know. I don't know if somebody else is exhibiting this behavior and hasn't got on the radar yet. But what happened to Spivey happened in under 2 weeks. I mean, he disappeared 11 days ago, returned 9 days ago, and then this whole thing just started snowballing. He's been on the run for a while. So whatever happened, when he came back after his missing time, the next morning, his father died by his hands. That started the whole run process. Now, whether or not somebody else has already going through this or has already adapted to it or has perished from this. We don't know. We don't have eyes on the ground there. That's why we need to send you four there and get a grasp on this, because honestly, if we let this thing go any longer,
Well, if you don't have eyes on the ground, by any chance, can you get us maybe potential missing persons reports, if there are any reported from that area?
I'll try to do my best, but these locals that are claiming about this missing time, a lot of people don't take them on the level, and they may be reticent to talk to agents. They've been ridiculed before in the past. You see how it goes when they try to jump on the local news. I mean, it's so bad that even that hack newspaper, Phenomenex, won't even come near this town.
Well, I do some digging online, see if I can find anything.
Well, I spoke with our mutual friend and thinking of a creative way for you four to insert yourself into the town in the investigation. Your best option would be an official cover story that has basically covering Spivey's crime spree and how it got out of control because he had double-crossed some drug dealers that he was in business with there. So we want you to go there to Groversville under the guise of investigating where to find these drug-dealing accomplices.
Very well. And while we're there, we can ask around using our media credentials, I guess, about some of the people who may have gone missing. Maybe that has something to do with this.
It's possible. Remember, if we can't control what's going on there, then we're going to have to destroy it.
Well,
That's
what do you
always
mean?
part of the thing.
Destroy what?
Whatever's creating this protomatter shit that's capable of making these super people out of regular pedestrians. I mean, whatever's going on there, it can't be allowed into the public sector, obviously. And you know that we're going to want it.
So in a sense, Derringer, you're asking us to wipe the scene.
Absolutely.
That's always the final, and has usually come up in about almost every time we've done this. So we know what we're getting into, but let's try to find out before we have to cleanse everything.
With respect to the proto matter, any way to trace the materials it was made of? As in, what is it? It's not human flesh, but what is it? Is there anything that we can get? Like it was originated from stem cells, it's plastic, what is it?
We're still looking into that, Adesso. And as soon as we find out, you guys will be the first to know. As it is, we're taking control of all the lab specimens, all the x-rays. We're basically sequestering each lab technician that we don't have in our corner and swearing them to secrecy. As it is, we're going to keep Spivey with us. We're going to relocate him. As I said, we currently have transportation en route. Look, I never want to tell you guys how to conduct your investigations. Like I said, I've been in the field doing what I do for the FBI. As far as the agency is concerned, I've only been a friendly, able to assist from a distance using my position to do so. But if I was you, I'd definitely want to talk to his mother, get a first-hand grasp on it, see what precipitated all this. Maybe she left something out. Maybe Spivey's leaving something out. I don't know.
The mother, the girlfriend. We'll talk to everyone that we can.
Yeah, stop in on them, find out if the time frame when he left. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, agents. I don't want to tell you how to do your investigation. I don't want to muddle up your mind either.
And don't want to tell you how to handle your prisoner, but I would sincerely wish that you do something with Mr. Spivey to keep him subdued and not just with manacles. Maybe something to help him rest. Maybe if he's not taking anything orally and spitting it up, maybe something can be applied to as simple as a towel over the nose.
We know where you were going with that, Agent Mitch.
We all hear what we want to hear, Derringer. Or Dillinger. Heavy on the dill. Sorry, cut that out.
Hey, Derringer, like a quick question for you. Are there any, is there any technology or assets or anything that you would be willing or that we would have access to that may aid us in our investigation, whether that be technology or weapons or intel that you haven't already shared with us?
We're currently putting together a little care package that'll be in the car that you're going to requisition out of the carpool. But as far as anything to combat this or to identify it or anything like that, we're still working on that. And as soon as it becomes available, I guarantee you we will get it out to you ASAP.
Okay. Thank you for that. What form of communication are you going to deliver that information to us in? Encrypted communication through the agency network?
We'll see what happens when it develops. I mean, if it's word of mouth, we'll use an encrypted message going towards one of you four. If it's something that's a hard target, then we may have to use a courier of some type. I'm not sure right now. We're still looking into this to make the determination of what we're going to be dealing with.
Okay, just out of character. So Salt has a smartphone that is encrypted, connected to, federal agencies.
Okay. And he probably has all four of your numbers already.
Okay.
Because it's been passed on to him.
Okay.
One more thing, guys. Make sure that you check in with local law enforcement when you get there. The town's run by Sheriff Dan Oakley. And you know how the locals get when you start pissing on their turf and you haven't cleared it by them first. So make sure you check in with him. He hands you guys a slip. He says this will be the vehicle requisition slip for the motor pool down below. And a map. The route has already been mapped out for you. It should take you about 3.5, maybe 4 hours to get there. It should give you plenty of time to go over this. And he reaches into that leather folder and he pulls out just a few pages in a manila folder. He says, this is basically Groversville at a glance. Study it for what it's worth. I had one of our boys piece together some of the highlights that have caught our interest. I don't know if it's going to be useful or not, but who knows? Maybe you guys will find it useful.
Sounds good. Why don't we just get on the road? Gents, if I could make a suggestion, I suggest we transit to Groversville. We make contact with the sheriff, then we break into two teams. One team goes and interviews the girlfriend's parents. The other team goes and interviews the mom.
Mother?
Our client's mom, or not our client's, our suspect's mom.
Our client's mom. Oh, dude. Hang on a second. I'm sorry. I got to unlock my map here.
Ooh, look at that.
Merle, shut up. I'm feeling a little sleepy.
Hey,
What
Mr.
do you mean, Merle,
Spivey,
shut
we're
up?
going
Where
to
you
see
at?
your girlfriend and your mom. See
Oh,
how
sorry.
that...
See how he reacts to that.
Yeah.
So he bids the four of you well and says, if you have any questions, I'll be your middleman. Think of me as your handler for now.
Very well.
Derringer, do we have access to agent personnel if we need to potentially sequester other folks in the town as we question them?
I would prefer that you don't sequester anybody without contacting me first.
Oh, I agree, Derringer, but I just want to make sure that I guess the question is, do we have access to agency resources to execute that type of thing?
That'll be on a case-by-case basis, and I'll advise you yes or no. I'll confirm that upon receipt of your request.
Okay, thank you.
And just so you guys know, you won't be alone out there. We'll have agents close by the town. They'll be following close behind you, but they'll still be a few hours back.
Nice to know we have some backup.
So you leave the office, make your way down to the motor pool. You see there's a requisition cage. The agent behind takes the receipt from you and hands you a set of keys. He tells you it will be the silver Dodge Charger. It'll be in spot 22.
Who wants to drive?
It's always been of my opinion that you're the driver, Mr. Odessa. You with all the experience in playing Car Wars back in the day.
There we go. All right, fine. I'm happy to drive unless anybody else would like to do so.
I will be shotgun, and that could help Agent Rice peruse over that voluminous folder that we have now.
Sounds good.
Handler, do you have an inventory of the care package that was provided to us?
He just said that you would have it available to you.
It's in the car though? Do we see it in the car?
Well, it's not on the
inventory?
seats, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in the trunk.
the
but
trunk.
Do we have an inventory of what that is?
Yeah. I'm assuming as you walk up to the vehicle, you pop the trunk open, and you see that there are 4 polymer cases that have Sig Sauer atop of them. As you open it up, you see that inside there is a P226 with a magazine already in the well and a spare magazine in the receptacle off to the side. And there's 4 of those cases. You also see a 3-foot-long black tube that's a little over 3.5 inches in diameter.
Does it have any markings on it?
Nope, it's unadorned. It does look like it has a cap on it, though.
Let's
Screw
open
cap.
it.
Just an end cap.
Let's open it up.
Yeah, you open it up, and you see inside there appears to be a handle of something long pointing down inside of it.
I'll take it out.
And you take it out. As you slowly pull it out, you see 3 feet of steel come out with this handle. As you look at it, it's definitely a katana.
Each, I think this is for you.
Potentially. Anyone else know how to use one of these butter spreaders? I'll take it and examine it, feel the weight, the heft. Though I don't know, is there a scabbard inside this container as well?
It is.
Okay.
Like when it's such a smooth blade to draw out that when he pulled the handle out, it pulled it right out of the scabbard as well.
Okay. I figured I will still keep the blade after I examine it, make sure it's sound. But also after that, I will keep it in the tube just so if we get pulled over, there's not a 3 feet of Hyrcanian steel sitting on my lap.
Yeah, and while you had it in your hand, you could tell that all of the weight is just in your hand. It almost feels as though there's nothing forward of the Tsuba.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, anything else in the trunk besides the 4 gun cases?
That's it.
No road snacks? Damn.
Gotcha. Yeah, we still have the stuff we brought with us, right?
You do.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
I
you
like
still have the
my,
weapons that you had.
I still like my 10mm Delta Elite. Any
Now you have a
holsters that come
backup.
with that?
There are no holsters. They're just in the cases.
Well,
Rice
always
is
going to leave it where it is, although it's nice to know it's there.
Rice is going to remove one of the SIGs and place it in his waistline,
Okay.
along with the magazines. Put them in his back pocket.
Each will take his newly acquired firearm, and if the case is not small enough, he'll put the firearm under the seat where it's within easy reach. Again, I don't want, if we get pulled over or stopped, to have these weapons just sitting out in the open.
Got it.
Well, what you going to do?
Coldwell's already packing heat, so he's going to leave the spare one in the trunk.
Where we can't get it.
So you guys pile into the car. Adesso, you're driving. Who's reading the packet?
Ichi and Rice are going over the packet of information. We're in the back seat.
Okay. Let me go over the highlights of this packet really quick. Groversville, county seat of Grover County in central Tennessee, mostly agricultural, small towns scattered about, official population about 1,200. Main stop along Highway 75. This has allowed great prosperity to the neighboring towns. Governed by a body of elected individuals that make up an alderman board of directors that oversee all commerce and infrastructure. For the past 4 months, the small town of Groversville has been the epicenter to strange lights and other aberrations involving crop circles and cattle mutilation. You see that there's a ink mark that has like a question mark on the back of it and then an exclamation point. Groversville has been a hotbed of UFO activity, reports of strange lights in the sky for several months. Farmers report cattle vivisected and operated on. Some of these cows are still alive. There's an underline under the word alive. A few weeks ago, residents found they could not account for periods of time, ranging from hours to days. Residents' memories simply end before the missing time and resume again once they're returned. Stories very skeptical. The local paper of record are scornful. Most stories are rumors built on innuendo and are made by less than reputable individuals.
Agent Caldwell, Ichi and I have been reviewing the packet here, and there's an interesting geographic location here in Groversville that we may want to look at. And I lean forward and I put the map in front of him and I point to this location that is kind of south of the main town area and the sheriff's office.
Let me take a look at that. Looks like some mining location. It's kind of an odd place.
Seems remote enough that maybe some stuff's going on out there that others may not be aware of.
It's a pretty small town. Sure, they might be aware of something.
Yeah, but how many people are going to be at a strip mine overnight?
Strip mine.
It depends on what the cover charge is, I guess.
That's right.
2 drink minimum.
Yep.
Sorry.
I don't know, Caldwell. It just seems. I don't know if you're smelling what I'm laying down here, but this seems maybe a good place for us to investigate. It's remote enough away from the town that maybe there's some nefarious activities occurring out there.
Well, it definitely won't hurt to take a look.
So Highway 75 runs you southeast for about 3.5 hours or so through the beautiful countryside. Sweeping hills dotted with farms and rural spreads really give off a down-home apple pie feeling. A stark contrast to the shitstorm you may be heading into. As you pass between 2 large hills, you see 2 signposts ahead. One says Groversville, 2 miles, and a smaller sign says County Reservoir, next exit. It's about 3:30 when you guys finally roll into town. Even through the glass, you can feel the cold Tennessee air. You start to see streets with signs. Town Hall, next left. County Sheriff's Office, next left. And then other simpler billboards. Merle's Shut-Eye, 1 mile. Merle's County Bunker, 1.5 miles. Merle's Auto and Body Service, 3rd right. Basically just giving a layout of this small town.
This Merle has as much property as old Brad Wesley had in one of the previous towns we were there.
Well, let's do some obeisance to the sheriff. Go out there, bend the knee, and let him know we're going to be poking around. Maybe he can give us some information on that, whatever you guys were looking at on the map.
Bend the knee.
That's basically what it is.
Bend the knee, kiss the ring, the brown ring, whatever ring.
So tell me what you gentlemen would like to do.
Well, you're driving, right, Odessa? We going to the sheriff first?
Yeah, we'll go to the sheriff first. We'll get there and get that protocol satisfied and Then when we're done, we may even be able to get some information, but I would advise we split into 2 teams. Although now that we only have the 1 car instead of the 2, I would like us.
Town.
My thought would have been for us to have 1 team go and visit the girlfriend's mom, and the other team to go to visit the mom of our suspect, Mrs. Spivey.
I think we can still do that. We could have someone drop the other party off. I think it's better to talk to these people with as few numbers as possible so we're not as intimidating and causing them to clamp up. But also, I think we stop by the sheriff and make, like you said, and maybe ask him, hey, is it okay if we go and talk to these people? Give him a little bit of that extra respect that these small town authorities always seem to need.
Sounds good.
Let them know we're in their
first stop is the
backyard.
sheriff.
So on your way to the sheriff's office, you pull into the parking lot and you see that for a small town, there are a lot of police cruisers, at least 11 of them. You see it's a nice building, kind of has that Sheriff Teasel look to it. Tell me what you guys want to do.
You said there's a lot of like police vehicles there.
Yes,
What
11
is
of
the
them.
what's the condition of them? Are they like fairly new, or are they like old beaters, or
No, they're not beaters at all. In fact, they may not be brand new. They probably have about 5-6 years on them, but they're really well kept. They look very clean.
So it's not like Barney Miller police cars.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not the gumball machines on the roof. They have
Yeah.
nice light bars and stuff. They're real, the paint's not faded.
just
It's got
kind
a
of
nice gloss.
see
Everything
what
LED.
kind of funding they have? It'd be weird. A nice little town like this would have all brand new cruisers. Is what I was trying to get to.
Oh, yeah, they're not brand new, but they're very well kept.
They were
That's
paid for
unusual.
by Merle a few years ago, I will bet.
Yeah, it's unusual for a local police department to have that much new equipment. Usually they try to make stuff last because budgets are few and far between, because that comes right out of the bottom line tax dollar. Well, let's go on into the station, knock, and say hello.
And we're gonna keep this cool, Odessa?
Of course, each. Why would you even ask?
Just I'm very clairvoyant. I have visions of things that could happen. So I'm hoping that
Well, you know how it is when things get dirty. I like to keep it clean.
Hey, team, before we enter, I'm assuming, Adesso, you're going to be our point person of speaking with the local authorities.
Sure.
We want to make sure that we're not, bouncing between the agents, and keep the communication and the, I'll call it interrogation, air quotes, in line with our investigation. We all agree Adesso's our point person.
yes, and usually,
Got it.
we haven't had worked a case together, and I'm not sure if you've listened to our previous episodes. Usually Adesso goes in a little bit more direct, and I try to smooth any waves that he starts to, create.
How'd you get those episodes? I was told they're all classified.
And hopefully they have a functioning coffee machine, because that's my go-to.
So Agent Ichi, I appreciate that, because myself, like Agent Adesso, I tend to go in a little hot. So I appreciate that you can keep Adesso and perhaps myself a little calmer and a little more professional in our interactions. Appreciate
Well,
that. Thank you.
I think having someone full-time listening to everything that these people are saying and answering, I think that would be great for us, which you seem to excel at. And Coldwell, you do help bring a certain level of stoicness and strength, backing that when we say we mean business, we mean business. So I think this will be the first time that we're really going in as more of a team instead of Butch and Sundance.
Sounds good.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
So I guess when we split up, it'll probably be Each and I and Coldwell and Rice. So therefore, we have the opposite personalities counteracting the other personality, and would probably yield us the best results.
From what I've seen, in character and out of character. I talk a lot and you talk a lot. So we may want to split that up. So
I'll tell you what we'll do.
we're going to roll off.
Roll off.
Actually, I was going to say that you guys should roll for the teams.
Okay.
That'll work.
Like,
Yeah.
we'll get to that
Two
when we get to
highest,
that.
two lowest.
Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that, though.
Okay.
So
All
you
right,
guys,
let's go on in and talk to the sheriff.
yeah, you guys bounce on up the steps, open up the glass doors, and you see that there's a desk right up front with a middle-aged woman, kind of heavy set, and she's doing some paperwork. And she looks up and she says, "Well, howdy, gentlemen. Can I be of assistance?"
Yes, ma'am. We're here to see Sheriff Dan Oakley, Agent Adesso. This is Agent Rice, Agent Ichi, and Agent Caldwell. We're from the FBI. We're apologizing for dropping in unannounced, but it's a matter of urgency.
Well, let me go get Sheriff Oakley right now. Please be patient. She
Thank you.
pushes down a button on her phone, and you hear the intercom. Sheriff Oakley, you have visitors for you. And it's just, feedback all through the whole thing. She puts down the phone, and you see this barrel-chested, middle-aged man coming around the corner. He kind of balding, got a bit of a comb-over, handlebar mustache, wearing his sixer on his side. And he comes around. "Thelma, what the hell are you screaming over that intercom for?" "I'm sorry, gentlemen. Sheriff Oakley, what can I do for you?"
Sheriff Oakley, nice to meet you. I'm Agent Paulie Adesso. This is Agents Rice and Ichi and Caldwell. We're from the FBI. If we would like a few moments of your time to explain why we're here and give you
Sure,
an idea of what we need.
Why don't you fellas come on back to my office? Thelma, why don't you go ahead and hold all my calls and the intercom as well, please? He ushers you guys back into basically going through the police office. And you see that there's other officers. They're milling about. They're talking with each other. They're going over stuff. And as you guys are looking at them, there's probably about 13 boots on the ground just inside the office. And he
There's
leads you.
6 dudes and a one-legged man, or what?
No. There's 13 officers milling about doing things right now in the police office.
Yeah, so 13 guys in the office. You could probably assume there's either double or triple that, off duty or out actually in the community. For a town of 1,200 people, that's
With
like
12
50
cars,
people.
you said?
Yeah.
11
11, okay.
that
so-
you
This is
saw.
quite the
in the
police
parking lot.
strength. This is a very, very well-staffed office. Just as a notation. Anyway,
So
we sit down in the office and
Well, he leads you back, smiles and all, and he shows you his office, and he closes the door and adjusts the blinds so nobody could see in. Goes around this large oak desk and plops himself into this nice, comfortable chair, and you see that there's all these awards and plaques. You see a steer head with horns and whatnot, just all these knickknacks all over the place. And he says, "Now tell me, agents, what can I do for you?"
first off, we'd like to apologize for just dropping in unannounced. Unfortunately, the nature of this investigation didn't lend itself to a lot of time. Again, Agent Adesso, Agent Ichi, Agent Rice, and Agent Caldwell. Focus of our investigation deals with a gentleman by the name of Billy Ray Spivey, who I understand has had contact with your office over the past couple of years. Obviously, his crimes have escalated, and I was wondering if you could give us any background on him and the family.
Well, first of all, let me tell you something about Billy Ray. He's not some kind of a hoodlum or a thug or anything else like that. The most I've ever seen him in here for is breaking curfew, occasionally underage drinking and whatnot. He's never done, in my book, I don't even consider those misdemeanors, let alone felonies.
Those
And
are
even though
badges
he's-
for kids.
Exactly. Even though a lot of you city folk may look down on some of that, I think some of our homegrown people here, we're okay with that. We just mostly just put them in the cooler for a while till they sober up, and that's about it. There's really nothing sealed in his folder, if
Wow.
you want to call it that.
So it's fair to say that this murder of his father, assuming he did it, is completely out of character for him.
Oh, very much so. I was just advised earlier this morning that he was apprehended. We're waiting for the extradition to bring him back to us.
Gotcha. How well do you know the family?
Oh, I know them very well. If I could find their fucking names, I'd let you know them. Fuck.
So there are enough chairs for all of us to sit in the office? If not, I'll use that as one of my tactics where I can step out, say, can I grab a couple of chairs? And then just see what the demeanor is of the office with us walking through.
There are 2 chairs in front of the desk, and that's it.
Okay. Well, maybe we can, I can try that ploy.
Well, let me tell you, Billy Ray, who's the only child of Rich and Angel, they did a dynamite job, and I gotta say that the only time that I've ever heard any complaints is maybe when old Rich might have had to square his son away just to keep him on the tracks going straight. So, and I think that that's admirable for any man on how to raise his son.
The sheriff, did he fall in with a bad crowd or anything recently?
I don't really think so. In fact, I'm very close to his friends, seeing as how my son is one of his friends as well. I mean, they're all young men trying to get a jump start around here.
By any
No.
chance, do you know his employer? Was he working a job?
He had recently just graduated, but up until this whole thing happened, he was pulling a little bit of time over at Merle's Auto and Body Repair.
How well do you know his girlfriend's family, Todd and Jamie Allen, and his girlfriend Jane?
Not very. I mean, I don't have any run-ins with them or their daughter. The only reason why I really know Billy Ray is because, like I said, he's friends with my son.
Got it. So, just trying to get a feel for the young man. This whole
Oh, that's against the law, Agent. Just kidding.
I didn't want to feel
This
him
is
up.
Tennessee,
He's
right?
18.
Consider it, Toad. I'm sorry.
Just trying to get a feel for the young man and how he grew up. Sounds like it was a solid family. So this pattern of violence and robberies is completely out of character for him, and in your opinion, is completely foreign to his methodology of, well, to say the background of his criminal records, just all minor infractions and other stupid stuff, teenage stuff. This is a whole nother level.
When I heard that he was responsible for the death of his father, 2 things
Allegedly.
happened. Well, his mother saw. How much more alleged could that be?
It's what we say just to avoid a defamation lawsuit.
You act like some kind of defense attorney. I don't think I like your kind, Agent.
That may be true, but I get results, and that's what I'm here for. So what we're here next to is figure out, we're going to go talk to Todd and Jamie Allen, then we're going to go talk to his parents, Angel and Rich. And
It's going to be kind of hard to talk to Rich, seeing as how they just buried him yesterday.
No, right. We're going to talk to Angel.
Or
Good point.
maybe they allegedly buried him, right?
Now, Sheriff,
I know he could
please,
be out
we're-
practicing
we're-
law.
Look,
We're
Agent.
catching up as fast as we can. We're new to this. We don't know these people obviously as well as you or this case. Please excuse us for any sort of
Let me,
miscommunications that we have here.
that's fine. Thank you, Agent. Let me ask you something, Agents. Now, you already captured Billy Ray. He's already in custody, correct?
We're not allowed to disclose details of our investigation, but just between you and I, yes.
Then what brings you here, Agents?
Well, we wanted to talk to a couple of people, more specifically his girlfriend's parents and his remaining parent, just to see if there's been a bad element around. Have you noticed any new residents in your area, any new problems, say with drugs or other types of random violence?
No, I can't say I have, Agent. In fact, like I said, his girlfriend has not been on my radar until recently, finding out that she was associated with Billy Ray. And as far as this whole drug angle, I just don't know if I see that holding water.
We do have to, look at everything we can, though.
No, I trust me. I like to keep a finger on the pulse, especially when my son is concerned. But I've known these boys all their lives. I see some of them turn bad apple, but Billy Ray, nah. Like I said, more likely his daddy just beat him every once in a while. But feel free to check around. Talk to Spivey's friends if you want.
Just for the file, what's your son's name?
I don't know if I like you, Agent. Making me have to look up shit every fucking time I turn around.
That might be one thing, too, that we wanted to ask you about, Sheriff, is your son was his best friend, probably knew him better than his girlfriend. Is that okay if we talk to your son? If you wish to be involved, that's more than okay on our end.
Yeah, well, Lenny's 18. He's an adult.
That he's still your son, sir.
I know,
want to make
but
sure
I
that
also know his rights, and he's a man. He's got to stand on his own.
Very well.
But,
if you're okay with it, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, and
Quick question for you, Sheriff. I mean, we're happy to let you go, but do you happen to know anything about anything going on south of this? Any strange mining or anything else? Or not strange, just any mining or anything else? We noticed a picture on our map, and he turns to Rice. Do you have that map?
Yeah, I'm shuffling through the leaflet. I pull it out and hand it to Adesso.
Do you know what this is? And Adesso points to the structure on the map.
it's an old coal mine run by Murrow's family back in the day.
How long has it been closed?
Maybe 50, 60 years.
Gotcha. Thank you, Sheriff. We sincerely appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Well, feel free to check around, talk to Spy with his friends if you want. When you see your theory doesn't pan out, well, then I suggest you get yourselves some cold ones and a thick, juicy steak down at Merle's Down Home Diner. Sleep it off at Merle's Shut Eye, as it's the only place in town you could rest. Top off your tank at Merle's Auto Repair. And enjoy some time on Uncle Sam's dime before blowing out in the morning. But I'm considering this case closed. Please let me know when you're heading out so I can see you off proper. And until then, I gotta run. And I'll see you boys next session.
Where am I going to warm up my dice?
I thought you were going to work that in. When
Yeah, I thought he was too.
Top off your tank and warm up your dice, motherfuckers. Fuck me running.
Slow down.
That's not an effort.
I don't think you ever named them. I'm looking at my
No,
notes.
but
I don't
he's
have
gonna
them.
give you their names. Fuck, I hate doing this thing. Hang on a second.
Well, it's in probably the book too, so you have to use the real ones.
I wrote it down. I don't need that. Don't make me go through the book.
Like guys don't ask for directions.
I know where I'm going.
I probably already gave it to you too.
No, you did not.
You did.
It's
I
your
don't have on
fault,
my
not
notes, and
mine.
neither does Chris, man. That means
Why don't you go take a piss?
Okay, hold on a second. I'm close here. I'm close. I'm real
Be
fucking
brave.
close. All right, got it. All right. What was the question again?
Oh, fuck you.
You know the family.
Okay, yeah. Okay, all right. Thank you for joining us once again on Roll the Hard 20 podcast. Remember, you can find us and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, and Audible. And if you like what you're listening to, leave us that 5-star rating and review. We also have a YouTube channel at Roll the Hard 20, so if you're into watching, head on over and hit that subscribe bell. We can also be found in the wild on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so don't forget to look for us there and check us out. You can also contact the show directly at rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com or head on over to the website at rollthehard20podcast.com, where you can download the current show directly, pick and choose past shows from our archives, or view our galleries. We've got a lot of stuff posted there, so check us out. And finally, join us on our Patreon page at patreon.com/rollthehard20podcast, where you can become a hard slinger and pick up swag. So until next session, keep your dice warm and your glass topped off as you roll those hard 20s.